Welcome back to Blasdell, Gateway to the South Towns. We're in the gallery section of Past and Present with Glen LaPlaca, the owner. Glen, I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about this gallery, how you came about obtaining all these different specimens, and a little bit specifically about this bone right here.
Well, this is actually something I've dreamed about my whole life, putting together a gallery like this. We've been collecting, well, I've been collecting since I was just 3 years old, and my dad would take me out looking for fossils. But it's a passion that I've had, and it's grown into this. But, you know, with a lot of help from a lot of different people, it's finally come to fruition, which is wonderful. This thing we're looking at behind us, this is actually a leg from a duck-billed dinosaur called an Edmontosaurus. This guy was about 44 feet long, so he was huge. It's almost 9 feet tall, the leg, so it gives you an idea of just how massive this animal was. This is one that we self-collected in South Dakota over the past 10 years. This is what's called a composite. It's actually bones from several different animals that all died together. And we've been putting this together. Some of the bones are in a state of partial restoration. You can see we've cleaned them up, but we haven't filled the cracks or anything on these bones. And we take one bone out at a time. We restore those bones and make them ready for display. So this is kind of a work in progress, and eventually we're hoping to put together this whole animal. So it's something that people will be able to watch as it develops. So this is just the first step of that.
So Glen, tell us a little bit about this. This is the state fossil?
Yeah, this is actually something that's found locally. This is actually an animal called a Eurypterid, or sea scorpion. This guy lived in this area about 400 to 410 million years ago. This used to be an inland ocean where we are today. And this particular guy was one of the larger predators of the time. There were some other sharks and so on. But this guy is now designated the New York State fossil. He had a cousin called a Pterygotus, which got to be over 8 feet long.
Wow.
And had pincers, largest arthropod that ever lived. Wow. And they actually lived in this area where we are today. Behind us, we have some other fossils that you could find in western New York and southern Ontario. A lot of these guys lived with the Eurypterid. We have different invertebrates, mostly in this case. Different things like you might find even locally by the Penn-Dixie site or along the lakeshore. That particular formation is Devonian in age, about 350, 360 million years old. Again, this was an inland shallow ocean, and it was salt water, and a lot of these animals, which are now extinct today, no longer living, were found thriving in that inland sea. We find things like trilobites, which you see along the back. Those are arthropods that are now extinct. A lot of different brachiopods and things like that. This case is only in its first phase. We're actually going to be expanding this. This is New York State fossils, and we like to have this on display because people like to bring in fossils. Right. We get a lot of people that bring something in and say, I don't know what this is, and can we match it up to your collection there? Right. And this actually has been a nice learning tool for all of us.
Neat. Well, Glen, maybe you can tell us a little bit about these big old guys.
These guys are actually replicas of actual dinosaurs that lived, again, at the end of the Cretaceous. This big fearsome-looking guy is a cast of a T-Rex. A cast is a replica of an actual fossil. There's only less than 2 dozen of these in the world, so to have one of these is not possible for us, but a cast shows what that actual fossil would look like. This guy, he was a huge predator at the end of the Cretaceous and ate a lot of our duck-billed dinosaurs. His teeth are almost 7 inches long. They extend way up into the jaw. They bit off 400-pound chunks of meat when they were live, these particular animals. This guy in front of me was actually prey from the T-Rex behind me. This is a cast, again, a replica of an actual fossil. This guy was huge. A Triceratops, or actually a Ceratopsian, one of his cousins, had the largest skull of any land animal that ever lived. But you can see how massive this is. This is just the head of one animal, much larger than a modern rhinoceros. But he had these large horns, which were a formidable defense against the Tyrannosaurus rex and raptors and different predators that would come after him. So yeah, this guy is one of our newest additions. We've actually just recently acquired him, and he's been a great addition to our museum and our gallery back here. And actually we have scouts and little birthday parties here, And these scout groups really enjoy
Oh, I
a
would
lot of
imagine.
these casts and a lot of our actual fossils here.
I could see that.
We've actually done different groups hosting scouts, and we meet some of the badge requirements for things like some of the Weeblos and so on.
Welcome back to Blasdell, Gateway to the South Towns. I'm David Adrian, trustee of the village, and we're here with Glen LaPlaca. Glen, I'd like to just thank you for spending a few moments with us today explaining about your store, and we hope to have you around for many years in the future.
I appreciate it very much. This has really been a great opportunity for me. We like, doing what we're doing. We love being in Blasdell. It's really been a great fit for us. We've been here for 13 years, and hope that relationship lasts a lot longer. We've got great neighbors and it's a great community, so it's really been wonderful.
Great. And as you know, we hope to facilitate some positive changes with respect to our Main Street over the next few years. It may be a number of years before we actually see construction happening on South Park in particular, but there may be some benefits. We've kind of worked a little bit with you with regard to potential for angled parking out front or even parallel parking out front, as long as it's just defined for you to help with your parking situation a little bit. And we hope to, I would imagine you would benefit from that.
Oh, absolutely. Increased parking and actually organized parking would probably be a benefit for all the businesses and residents in this area. And I like the idea of the green space, and it sounds like a real nice plan.
And if any luck, we will have some curbing to help define the border between where the parking is, and just help to guide people into the store and help them to frequent it.
That sounds wonderful. Great. Looking very forward to it.
It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You.